So many people are out here looking for motivation day after day after day, month after month after month, year after year after year. It's a constant, endless search for motivation. And I want to have some real talk about staying motivated, because I genuinely believe this is one of the most misunderstood and misguided topics and searches that people have, is this endless search for motivation, as if somehow motivation is supposed to stay around, or it's supposed to be in a cupboard you just open up and reach and grab every day and flip on YouTube or your favorite podcast, and the right motivation finds you, or you find the right motivation. I don't know what people are looking for or what their expectations are. And I want to have real talk about staying motivated. Okay, because if you want the real talk, like the real talk, that very few people who are in the motivational speaker game will tell you, is that stop looking for motivation. Motivation isn't something that you need to be going out and finding every day. And in fact, the better thing to do, the ideal thing to do, is to break up with motivation. Stop needing to be, stop expecting to be, stop trying to be in some kind of long-term committed relationship with motivation, and recognize that's not the relationship that motivation has with you, or that you're gonna have with motivation. Your entire life, motivation has done this. It's up and it's down. There's days you feel it, there's days you don't. There's days it's right there in your hands, there's days you can't seem to grab it whatsoever. There is gonna be no point in your life that you have motivation all the time, the way that you want it and the way that you need it for the work that you have to do. But there will always be work to be done. So the question that all of us have to answer is, what do we do when the motivation isn't there to do the work that we need to do? I mean, because isn't that the reason that you're watching? Isn't that the question that you have when it comes to how do I stay motivated? It's not so much stay motivated, because in the days you don't need to be, you don't worry about it. The only time you feel the pain, the only time you have to search for something, the only time you need to go try to capture some energy or bring some energy in, is when you need to do something that you don't feel the motivation for. That's the question. And so what do we do about that? Well, the first thing would be, are you going to rely on motivation? I mean, this is the first question you have to ask. Are you going to rely on motivation in your life for those moments? For me, the answer is no. I'm not going to rely on motivation in those moments. I'm not going to rely on waking up each morning and deciding whether or not I feel like doing the things that make me the best me. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to know the things that make me the best me. I'm going to know the things that I need to do to get the jobs done that I need to get done, to be the person I want to be, have the impact I want to have, treat people the way I want to treat people, struggle through, strain through those difficult things that I've got to do. I'm not going to make the decisions about the person I'm going to be that day based on how motivated I feel. That's just never going to be it, because I'll fail that and you'll fail that. So it's about choice. Rather than motivation, right? How do I stay motivated? Right? Rather than me tell you, hey, here's how you stay motivated, it would all be bullshit. This is how you stay motivated every day. No, that's not real. The truth of the matter is, you're not going to feel motivated every day, and there is nothing that you will ever do that will change that. Now, you can get better at it, but it's never going to be there every day. So sooner or later, at some point, you're going to have to answer to the action required when you don't feel it in every area of your life. In those moments, I'd much rather you have the capacity to make choices. Choices beyond your emotions, beyond your impulses, beyond your preferences. And that comes down to discipline. I mean, that's what discipline ultimately is. And I think discipline and motivation, they're not opposite ends of the spectrum, but I think they're in two different camps. I think there's people who lean on and rely on and expect motivation to be their driving force. And I think there's people who lean on and rely on and expect discipline to be their driving force. Motivation is feeling, discipline is decisions and choices. Motivation is somehow outside of us. It's something we have to go get. It's outside and we try to bring it in. Discipline is inside. Motivation is not always in our control. Discipline always is. So look, we could talk about how do you stay motivated and tap into motivation that you're not feeling that day. There's a number of things. You can look at what are the things that you really want? What would those things give you? Why do you actually want those things? And you can start asking all of those questions. You can look at the versions of your life where you don't have that thing and you do have that thing. And you can look at the pain and the difficulty of not having it versus the joy and the pleasure and the satisfaction personally of having it. And you can use that difference to fuel you somewhat. And that might work, but you've tried that before, and that's pretty inconsistent. And I'm all for trying things. I'm all for you trying things. But you know as well as I know that that doesn't always work, and it's not that reliable. Otherwise, we wouldn't be at this spot watching this video and hearing this message. It hasn't delivered. You know that's fallen short and that's fallen empty. And the reason, I'm going to tell you one more time, the reason is because your relationship with motivation is not where it needs to be. It's time to break up with motivation and go build a committed relationship with discipline, where you're the one making the decisions.